Bacoo in the Moonlight, a Jambi story by Son de Anansi and Kompa. This tale is based on true events and unfolds in the coastal village of Victoria in Guyana, located some 18 miles east of the Georgetown capital and bordered by the sister hamlets of Cove and John on the west and Belfield on the east. Names, identities, and exact locations have been changed to protect the privacy of those involved. Now, be sure to have a bottle of limacol or smelling salts within reach, and all the lights in your home should be turned on. This is a Jambi story like no other. One bright day in the middle of the night, a Sunday night to be exact, two villagers were making their way home from church. Mariah and her daughter Leela, the second of three kids, were in an effervescent mood as they made their way home following an evening service at the local Methodist church. The air was thick with the scent of salt from the nearby sea and the sweet fragrance of ripening mangoes. The sun had long dipped below the horizon, and the look of the sky was that of a bright, deep indigo color, backed by the faint shimmer of distant stars. It was a night of the full moon. The path they trod was familiar, and so too was the hymn being sung aloud by Mariah as the pair made their way towards their residence on Grover Lane. But even as her conscious mind wallowed in song, the subconscious had wandered to a story her grandmother often repeated to she and her siblings. The chilling tale of the Bacoo, a malicious spirit said to be small in stature with an overgrown head. Bakoos could bring good fortune if treated well, the subconscious mind recalled her grandma saying, but they could also cause great harm if angered. It was said that a Bacoo could also take on different forms for short bursts of time, deceiving the eyes of the beholder and leading them to their doom. This story, set in the deep reservoir of Maria's mind, always seemed to surface on the night of a full moon. Roughly 100 yards away from their home, and just seconds after they had turned onto Grover Lane from off the Victoria Main Road, Mariah felt an urgent tugging at her skirt. It was 10-year-old Leela, and she was trembling. Look, what's that? An alarmed Leela muttered, the tone of her voice vacillating between a squeal and a whisper. There is something by the bridge, Mariah. Leela always addressed her mother by her first name, or full mouth, as the locals would say. Ahead, illuminated by the eerie glow of the moon, stood a figure, small and hunched, its eyes seeming to flicker with an unnatural light. A cold shiver ran down Mariah's spine. The legend of the Bacoo surged to the forefront of her mind, filling her with a paralyzing dread. The figure stood ominously, a silent sentinel in the night, as if waiting for them. For a long moment, they stood frozen, the only sound the beating of their hearts and the distant crash of waves from the Atlantic Ocean. The moon hung heavy in the sky, casting an otherworldly light on the scene before them. Mariah's thoughts raced, torn between the safety of the church they had left behind and the sanctuary of their home that lay just beyond this spectral apparition. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Mariah took a deep breath and grasped Leela's hand tightly. Summoning all her courage, Mariah whispered a prayer. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even mine enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Mariah had decided they were going to face their fear, Let's walk slowly, Leela. Keep your eyes on it, but do not let fear take hold, she said, her voice steady, but her hands trembling. Father God, I place our lives in your hands, she kept mumbling. With each hesitant step, the figure seemed to sway as if mocking their approach. The air was awash with tension, and the night seemed to close in around them. Mariah's heart pounded in her chest, her mind filled with images of the Bacoo's malevolent grin as described in her grandmother's tales. But as they drew nearer, the horrifying visage began to unravel. The figure, once a source of terror, morphed before their eyes. The glowing eyes were nothing but the reflection of the moon on dew-laden leaves, and the sinister form was merely an Edo plant, its leaf fluttering innocently in the night breeze. Yes, that was it, an Edo plant. Oh shoots, Luca. Relief washed over them like a cleansing wave, and Mariah let out a shaky laugh, more from the release of fear than amusement. You see, my love, our minds can play tricks on us in the dark, she said to Leela, who clung to her, still wide-eyed but now laughing. They were singing again as they crossed their bridge and walked onto the hard clay surface of their yard. The weight of fear lifted from their shoulders.